Hi everyone, Jodie here from Thrive Law, and today I'm going to talk to you about furlough fraud. What the hell is it? Well, I was on Radio Air last week talking about this because it's becoming more prominent, especially as flexible furlough comes in, where employers are allowed to bring employees back for some hours. Now, let's just rewind a little bit. Previously and currently, you're not allowed to work for your employer if you are furloughed. It is prohibited. And if your employer is claiming money back from HMRC and asking you to work, it amounts to fraud. So what do you do as an employee in this situation? Because clearly you don't want to upset your employer, but you also don't want to facilitate fraud. And what you, in my view, need to be doing is, first of all, refusing to work whilst on furlough and making sure that's really clear in writing. Now, by putting it in writing, what I would also recommend is you provide enough information about the request to work and state that you believe it is a breach of a legal obligation and it could amount to criminal conduct. And if you do that, what that then means is you're protected potentially under the whistleblowing legislation, because you're effectively blowing the whistle about a criminal activity. Fraud is a criminal offence. So what that means for you is that if your employer then decides to dismiss you, demote you, or not pay you as a result of that, or you suffer any detriment because you've complained about the fact that they're acting illegally, you are then protected and you can bring a claim for injury to feelings and a loss of financial losses. So there's a lot of protection there for you, but only if you whistleblow. And the whistleblowing element of that is putting the complaint in writing and clearly stating that you think it's a criminal offence and why you think it is. So, for example, you've asked me to come into work but not tell anybody, and we have a furlough agreement in place, and I understand that you're claiming money back from the furlough scheme, and therefore I think that's unlawful, and I don't want to do that because I think that would amount to fraud. Something along those lines, of giving enough information in order to get you that protection that you need. Now, slightly different for flexible furlough. So flexible furlough, you are allowed to work for your employer, but only on the hours agreed that are working hours. So still on your furlough hours, you're not supposed to work. Now, this might prove a little bit more difficult because you might just not know how many hours your employer is claiming, through the furlough scheme. So it might just be that you're still paid almost the same, or in fact the same, and you don't know what your employer's claiming. So what I would suggest you do, if your employer hasn't already done this, is agree what hours are furlough, what hours are unfurlough, and work it out in advance. So either on a weekly or a monthly basis, so that you're really clear what that new working arrangement is. If you're not clear, then it can lead to issues around overpayments, underpayments, and potentially fraud. So you don't want to be complicit in that situation. So if your employer is asking you to work during furlough hours or during full-time furlough, you should refuse and do that in writing. Set it out really clearly and engage the grievance process if they continue to force you to work. Now, if you have any issues, or your employer still is forcing you to return to work, or you're not sure, or you're worried about approaching your employer about this, do contact us. We've got a free helpline. It's coronavirus@thrivelaw.co.uk. We can help you with that process if you're concerned. And if you're an employer and you don't know what the situation is or what amounts to work, take advice first so that you're not in breach and that you don't end up having to repay some of the grant back. It's really, really important that you understand exactly what you're allowed to claim back and exactly what you're allowed to do with your staff. Hopefully this has been helpful. The interview from Radio Air I think is still going on in the news at the moment. So if you do have any questions, get in touch. Please like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below if you found this video helpful, so that we can create more content like this. And thank you for watching. See you again soon.